Hello, I'm going to demonstrate using this extruder. First I want to load clay into it, so I'm going to take it apart and load the clay into it. Here's the tube. The tube is a piece of black 4-inch ABS drain pipe. This is a wooden plug that goes in here. This one has been in contact with clay for a long time, so it's swollen up and it's going to be a very tight fit. Normally you don't take the clay plug, the wood plug out at all. You just leave it in all the time. Here's some clay. I'm not going to fill it up for this demo. I'm just going to put a small amount in there, but you can certainly fill the tube all the way to the top. Now I'm going to select a die. I have literally dozens of dies made out of sheet aluminum. This is either 12 gauge or 1/8 inch sheet aluminum. And here is a handle that I'm going to use today. It's quite easy to make these yourself. You can drill some holes and use either a jeweler's saw or files to refine the shape and get it the way that you want. So let's go ahead and put the die into the extruder. The die simply sits on the support ring here. The clay tube with the wooden plug on the top, obviously, is going to be placed into the extruder. Firmly put down there. These hold down bars will hold the tube in place. And that's all there is to mounting it in there. I'm going to put the plunger in now. So here's the plunger with the shackle that is used for driving the clay through the tube. Hook it onto here. And then you can see as I lift the handle up, the shackle drops down. And when I pull down on the handle, the shackle binds on the tube and gives me leverage down there. When I lift the handle up again, the shackle is going to slide down and it's going to allow me to advance the handle and the plunger down the tube. Since this tube was mostly empty with clay, I'm going to have to move it down quite a bit before I actually come in contact with the clay and start extruding anything. Okay, so I feel a contact with the clay. At this point, it's going to take quite a bit more force to force the clay out of the tube down here. You can see it coming out. Here's my handle that's extruded. So when I've extruded all of the clay out of here, I'm going to have to load more clay into it. One thing to note is that you do get a little bit of leakage of clay around the bottom here, because the only thing that's holding the tube against the die is the force of the clay coming down inside. So let me continue to extrude all this out here and empty the clay out of there. At the very end, I can feel that the plunger has come to the end of it, and so I'm going to stop. I'm going to remove the handle in order to get the tube out and load more clay onto it. This will be the same process you would go through if you wanted to change from one die to another die. So I'm going to lift up, hold the shackle as I slide it all the way up to take out the handle, remove the hold down bars, and this simply lifts out. When I take this apart here, you can see there is a little bit of clay, but there's the wood plug down there. I just need to clean off this clay. Clean the clay off of the die. I'm going to leave the clay plug in the tube. I'm going to turn it over and load clay back into this end. So the clay plug stays in there all the time. It just gets pushed to one end to extrude, and then you fill it from the opposite end and turn it over and extrude it the other way. So the wood plug ends up just going back and forth in there. So let me just add a little bit more clay to this. The wood plug is down there. I'm going to drop this in. I'm going to put this die or a different die if I changed in there. Place this thing back on the die. Put it in place, put the hold downs back on it, and place the handle with the plunger on there, and I'm ready to go again. So it's that simple to change the dies on this or to add more clay to it. When I'm done using the extruder, I'm going to take the tube off. I'm going to take the die off, and I'm going to take the partially filled tube of clay, put it inside a plastic bag, and put it back on there and just store it tucked away like that. So I don't need to clean the clay out of the tube, I can just leave it in there. If I'm in a studio that uses red clay and white clay, I simply get a second black plastic tube that I can leave the red clay stored in that. It'll stay, depending on the temperature and humidity, will stay moist in there for at least a few weeks. That's how to use the extruder. Thanks.